Going into the open results, top seed Fabiano Caruana defeated Grigory Oparin, taking his score to 4 out of 6. Meanwhile, Shanklin beat Ray Robson, and Dominguez managed to grind down Abhimanyu Mishra. Caruana continues to lead with Neiman in second place with 3.5. Going into the games, we'll start with the game between Caruana and Oparin, which featured an Italian game with knight f6, d3, and h6. Here Caruana goes a3. Oparin, of course, is a longtime second of Caruana, so definitely there was some intrigue in the opening here in terms of what line these players are going to choose. But eventually they landed on this kind of position, d6. White trays on c5, d takes c5, castles queen to d6. Oparin spending time at this point. I think queen d6, not the only move. Bishop g4 also playable here. Black's position looks okay, but after queen d6, knight d5, black does land under some pressure here. Takes on d5, e takes d5, knight e7, and now queen to e1. Very clever move, hitting the e-pawn and not falling into a pin after bishop to g4. So here black plays f6 to defend the pawn. But now knight d2, bishop f5, knight e4, takes on e4, d takes e4. And the players reached this middle game with white having bishop versus knight, and it seems like white has at least a little bit of an edge here. After b6 takes queen to b4, queen d6, they actually go into the endgame, and white is definitely a bit better here. Fabi starts pressing for some time. Actually, for the most part, I would say Oparin was holding his own here and keeping the position quite reasonable. However, it was pretty unpleasant to hold this long term. As white continues to make progress here, eventually Fabi trades rooks, and then he organizes this break with g4. Takes, knight f6, bishop e6. Now black goes rook to b8. I think the engine was giving knight e8 here as a better move in order to kind of deal with white's potential break of c5, because this is what ends up happening in the game. Rook to b8 is played. Probably a mistake, allowing white to play c5. And now after d6, white's d-pawn ends up being very, very strong, and white has a simple idea of pushing d7, and then playing rook takes b6, because black's rook is going to be connected to the d8 square. So here Oparin, I believe, starts to go even further wrong, goes rook h8. The engine was saying that maybe knight h7 here is holding full by just bringing the knight back to f6. And yeah, it's a very, very difficult position. Engine gives white already a big advantage here, but not clear if it's winning just yet. Maybe king f8 as well was a trying to head to e7. After rook h8, d7, white goes back rook d8, but now rook takes b6. And it's all over if knight takes d7. There's rook to b7 here, just winning the piece. And at this point, white is breaking through, and the rook and bishop and king as well are just too strong. So bishop to c4, nice move from Caruana, hitting everything on the 6th rank. King back to g7, bishop to b5. Again, the pawn is kind of untouchable. Now rook to c6, white finally takes the pawn, as the king is close enough to defend. The bishop to c4 check. King here, and now rook e6. And white is winning a lot of material in the position. Real quick, if king to g7 here, then there'd be rook d6. And with a very unfortunate pin on the d-file this time, and then bishop to b5 coming. And white wins here as well. So king e7, check, king f7, rook takes e5. One pawn falls, now rook e6. Bishop b5, the second pawn falls, knight e5, rook g5. And Oparin resigned here as, yeah, he's losing another pawn, then white will be 2 pawns up. And of course, completely winning. It's a very nice technical win here from Caruana as he increases his score to 4 out of 6, and once again regains the clear lead in the U.S. Championship. Thank you for watching the video. Please like, share, and subscribe.